In the yesterday's class, we discussed about the operating system. Just take an overview of the operating system. Means what is operating system, how it works, what are the functions of operating system, right? So just take a quick recap of the previous class, that is operating system. This chapter gives you a basic idea about the operating system, starting with the definition of operating system and its function. Means this chapter gives an overview of the operating system and what are the functionalities available in the operating system. This is the diagram. This shows there are different users. There are different hardware, and operating system is the intermediate between the user and the hardware. So this diagram shows the operating system overview. That is, operating system is a mediator between the user and the hardware. Right. Next slide shows shows the functions of operating system. There are different categories of operating system. We will discuss again for few 10 or 15 minutes. First one is memory management. As the name advises, memory management means manage the memory. So memory is of various types like registers, cache memory, primary memory. So it is the role of the operating system to keep track of the operating system and the memory management. There are basically 4 activities. It keeps tracks of the primary memory, that is what part of it are in use, by whom, what part are not in use. Means which part of the memory is used by someone or which part is free for saving something, right? Second point says in multi-programming OS, operating system decides which process will get memory, when and how much. Then it also allocates the memory and deallocates the memory, right? Now move to the next one. There is a processor management. Processor management means if there are different processors, that is CPU, then it is very important to manage all the processors, and that is done by the operating system. And the process, when they are scheduled, that are known as process scheduling. There are different 3 activities. First activity says keep tracks of the processor and the status of the processes. Means it keep tracks which process is used and what is the status, whether it is in idle status, it is in running status, it is in waiting status, and so on. Then it also allocates the processes, that is CPU, to a different processes. Then deallocates the processor when there is no requirement for the process. Right. This is the second function. Third function is device management. As the name advises, device management means there are different types of devices which is used. So it is the responsibility of the operating system to manage all these devices in a proper manner. That is your device management. And there are also 4 activities which comes under the device management. That is, first one is keeps track of all the devices. Means what is the input device used, what is the output device used. It is done by the operating system. Then second point says it decides which process gets the device, when and for how much time. Means if there are different processes and different devices are used, then OS decides which process uses the device, when and for how much. Means for what is the duration of the device which is used by the different processes. Next point says allocates the device in efficient way. Means allocation of the devices, then deallocation of the devices, that is also done by the operating system. Then come to the next slide, that is file management, next function. A file system is normally organized into directories for easy navigation and usage. Means if any file management is done, that is done by the operating system. File means collection of records. If there is a need of sorting, searching, anything, updation, anything on the file, that is done by the operating system, and that is known as file management. This includes 4 activities. First one is keep tracks of the information, location, usage, status. Next one says decides who gets the resources at what timing. Then allocates the resources, means allocation is also done by the file management. Then deallocation the resources, means how to deallocate the resources when the process is not in use. right? Then there are also different activities which is done by the operating system. First one is security. Security is also enabled by the use of the operating system. Means which security is used, when it is used, and the main motto is to prevent from the unauthorized access. Means when to access, and no one can access without the end users, right? Next point says control over system performances. When there is a system performance issue, then there is a control over the activity that is also done by the operating system. This point says recording delays between request for a service and response from the system. That is, if there is a recording delays, then there is also a request and response, and there is a balance system that is also done by the operating system. Next point says job accounting, means keeping track of the time and resources that is used by various jobs and users. Then fourth point says error detecting aids, means it is the responsibility of the operating system to detect all the errors. If you see on the screen there is an error message, means Windows corrupt, there is no hard disk in the pen drive, there is no hard disk in the computer. All these error messages are also shown by the operating system. Last point says coordination between other software and users, means operating system also provides the coordination among different users which are using the system and the software which is used by the different users, right? It means all these are basic functions of operating system. Basic functions means all are basic functionalities that is performed by the operating system. So if I conclude, first one is file management, then there is a device management, then there is a processor management, there is a memory management. Along with 4 basic concepts, there are also 5 different functions which is performed by the operating system, and that includes security, control over system performance, job accounting, error detecting aids, coordination between other software and users. Clear? Now let's see what are the types of operating system, means categories of operating system. First one is batch processing system. As the name advises, batch processing system means operating system that is done in the batch, that is done in the group, is known as batch operating system. This point says to speed up the processing, jobs with similar needs are batched together and run as a group. Means if I am using Windows 8, you are using Windows 8, and if we are both using Windows 8, so there is a batch operating system that includes both our system and perform our task easier. Right? The main problems which are included with batch system are the following. First one says lack of interaction between the user and the job. For example, you are sitting at the far place and I am sitting in India. So there is a difference between you and my, so there is lack of interaction if I am using the batch operating system. Next point says CPU is often idle because the speeds of the mechanical input-output devices are slower than the CPU. Means sometimes if there is no requirement of the input-output devices, or if mouse is not working, then CPU is often idle. Means there is no work for CPU. So it is also main limitation of the batch operating system. Last point says it is very difficult to provide the desired property. Means it is desired priority, not property. Means it is very difficult to decide which process comes first in the batch, because as I told you, batch means collection of different groups, collection of different persons, collection of different users. So it is very difficult to decide which user will give first, which user will execute program first, and then next, then next, then next. So it is very difficult to provide the desired priority to the different users. Right. Next operating system is time sharing operating system. Time sharing is a technique which enables many people located at various terminals to use a particular computer at the same time. Means we are using the time sharing operating system. As you are also doing some tasks, I am also teaching you. Right. So this means there is a time sharing between the you and me. So this is done by the time sharing operating system. Right. This point says multiple jobs are executed by the CPU by switching between them, but the switches occur so frequently, therefore the user can receive an immediate response. For example, in a transaction processing, when there is a processing of the transaction, processor executes each user program in a short burst or quantum of computation. Means in a shorter period of time, transaction takes place, that is known as time sharing operating system. Right. Next, there are different advantages and disadvantages of time sharing operating system. Let's see one by one. First disadvantage of operating system is it provides advantage of quick response. Means there is a quickly response. If I am saying something to you, you reply back to me. That is, it provides advantage of quick response. Then it avoids duplication of software. And then at last it says reduces CPU idle time. Means CPU never set idle because you are using the system, I am using the system. So either you can work, either me can work. So there is no idle time for the CPU. Next, disadvantages of time sharing operating system. That is, what are the limitations, what are the drawbacks, why we are not using time sharing operating system, or why persons are not using time sharing operating system. There are different disadvantages. First one says problem of reliability. Means it is not trustworthy. We cannot rely on this. So this is the main limitation. Next limitation says question of security and integrity of user programs and data. Means if you are using the same system, I am using the same system. So there is chance of the security, unauthorized security. Means you can access my data, I can access your data. So there is lack of security between your system and my system. Clear? Last point says problem of data communication. Means if there is no good network in the computer, in the lab, so it is very difficult to use the time sharing operating system. Then next operating system is distributed operating system. As the name advises, distributed operating system means multiple processors, multiple users uses the same operating system, uses the same computer. That is known as distributed operating system. As the name advises, distributed, right? So distributed systems use multiple central processors. Means if there is a central processor, central computer, you are using same computer, I am using same computer. That is done by the distributed operating system. The processors communicate with one another through various communication lines such as high-speed buses or telephone lines. Means if I am using system, you are using system. You are using different lines, but there is a high-speed bandwidth. I am using system means I am using central computer. I am using, so I would need the high-speed buses or the telephone lines, right? There are some pros and cons. Yeah, one main point is that these processors are referred as sites, nodes, computers, and so on. Means if there is a central computer and you are using the same, I am using the same. So these computers are also known as sites, nodes, computers, and so on. Now let's see what are the advantages of distributed operating system. With resource sharing facility, users at one site may be able to use the resources available at another site. For example, you can access my screen, means you can access my computer screen. So that is also done by the distributed operating system, and this is the main advantage of distributed system. Next point says speed up the exchange of data with one another via electronic mail. Means there is exchange of data via email. Then the next one says if one site fails in a distributed system, the remaining sites can potentially continue operating. For example, A, B, C, there are three computers and there is only one central computer, and all the A, B, C, all computer uses the same computer, same central computer. And if by chance A fails, means A system fails, so B system cannot sit idle because B is different computer, but it is attached to the central computer. C is also different computer, it is also attached to the central computer. So B can work smoothly, C can work smoothly. Means there is no provision that if A fails, then B also fails, C also fails. No. B works, C works, only A fails, and this is the main advantage when we are using the distributed operating system. Right. Next point says better service to the customer. Means it provides better services to the customer. Then reduction of the load on the host computer. Then reduction of delays in data processing. Means there is a speed up fast, or there is a speed in fetching the result, giving the result, feedback, reviews, all the things. Means these are all advantages of distributed operating system. Next one is network operating system. Network operating system runs on a server and provides server the capability to manage data, users, security, applications, and other networking functions. The primary purpose of the network operating system is to allow shared file and printer access among multiple computers in a network. Means in network operating system, we are using the network. We share the network. That is known as network operating system. Right. The main advantages of network operating system are, first one is centralized server are highly stable. Means there is a centralized server. There is only one server and that is highly stable. Means we can rely on the central server. Means that computer is correct and we can trust and we can use that system on a later basis. Next point says security is server managed. Means server manage the security automatically when we are using the network operating system. Next point says upgrade to new technology. Means if I am using the network operating system, it is easy to upgrade the new technology and hardware, and that can be easily integrated into the system. And last point says remote access to server is possible from different locations and types of systems. There are some limitations of a network operating system which are as follows. First point says high cost of buying and running a server. For example, I am using the server. I go to the market to buy a server. So that server requires so many chips, so many conductors. That are the internal parts of the server, internal parts of the computer. So that needs a lot of expensive work. Means there is a need of lots of money for purchasing those conductors, chips, RAM, hard disk. So it is very costly to buy and run a server. Next point says dependency on a central location for most operations. Means there is high dependency that there is central computer, there is a server, I'm using the server, you are using the server, so that is the main computer. So we are highly dependent on the server. For example, if server fails, then you also sit idle, I am also sitting idle. So it means we all are dependent on the server. So this is the main limitation of the network operating system. Last point says regular maintenance and updates are required. Means there is a regular maintenance, that is checking the hard disk, checking the RAM, checking the CPU, memory. All these things are done on a regular basis, and updates are also done on a regular basis. So this is the main limitation, because no one have a time to check all the updates on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, on a daily basis. So this is the main limitation of the network operating system. Till network operating system I discussed yesterday, and Today, I just only give a brief overview of the topics which I covered yesterday. Now, let's start the next operating system, that is your real-time operating system in detail, because it was not discussed yesterday, so it is discussed today on, right? So, real-time operating system. As a name advice, real time means time is very precious. Time plays an important role. So, an operating system that provides the interface in which time plays an important role is known as real-time operating system. Right. For example, the best example is ATM machine. You go to the ATM, you punch the card. Right. If you would not supposed to give the pin code in a correct time, then automatically that gives an error that card cannot be accepted, your time is out. That is a real-time operating system. Another one, if we are booking the online tickets and if there is some time gap, then error message comes, time is over. So this is also an example of the real-time operating system. Right. Now let's see one by one in detail. Real-time system is defined as data processing system So, real-time system is defined as data processing system in which the time interval required to process and respond to input is so small, means there is small time gap when we are using the system and we are giving the response. And respond to input is so small that it controls the environment. Real-time processing is always online, whereas online system need not be real-time. Means this line shows the comparison between the real-time processing and the line system, that is online system. So this line says real-time processing is always online, whereas online system need not to be real-time. For example, if we are using the real-time operating system, we are using the real-time processing, then it must be the mandatory condition to be the online. But if we are using online, if we use online techniques, then there is no need of the real-time. Means time plays not an important role in each and everything of the online. But if we are using the online or real-time, then you must be the online on the system. Right. The time taken by the system to respond to an input and display of required updated information is response time. Means a response time is known as when you respond to an input and when you display of required updated information. There is a time gap that is known as the response time. So in this method, response time is very less. Means if we are not giving the input in a shorter period of time, in a set period of time, so it is going and error message came, then time is out. So in this method, response time is very less as compared to the online processing. So this paragraph says real-time system and the comparison between the online system and the real-time system, right? Next paragraph says real-time systems are used when there is a rigid time requirement. Means there is a huge time requirement on the operations of a processors on the flow of data and real-time systems. It means if there is a huge requirement of the time, means time is very precious. So in that case, we can use the real-time systems and we can use the flow of data, and then real-time system can also be used as a control device in a dedicated application. Real-time operating system has well-defined fixed time constraint, otherwise system will fail. Like I said you the example, if we are using the punching machine or the ATM machine and you are not giving the output or the input at the required timing, so an error message came, time out, time out. So this means there is a well-defined fixed time constraint, otherwise system will fail, system will not work. For example, means these are the all examples of the real-time operating system. One I told you the basic example, that is your ATM machine, automatic teller machine. And another example includes scientific experiments, medical imaging systems, industrial control systems, weapon systems, robots and home appliance controllers, air traffic control system, etc. And there are lots of systems which are real-time operating system, but in this slide I discussed only few, and there is a etc term, that is your extra. Right. So this is your real-time operating system. Now move to the next slide. There are two types of real-time operating system. Now these are the categories of real-time operating system. One is hard real-time system, another one is soft real-time system. So first one is hard real-time systems. Hard real-time systems guarantees that critical task completed on time. Critical task means that is a major task which I have to complete. I have to complete, means it's mandatory to complete on the time. So this guarantees that critical task complete on time. In hard real-time system, secondary storage. Wow, that's so interesting. Secondary storage means, which I discussed in the first class, that is used for backup storage, that is your secondary storage. In hard real-time system, secondary storage is limited or missing with data stored in ROM. ROM is, I discussed in the first class, ROM is read-only memory. So secondary storage is limited or missing with data stored in a ROM, that is known as real-time operating system, or we can say hard real-time operating system. In these systems, virtual memory is almost never found. Virtual memory, this is the main concept which I discuss with you on a later basis when we see the memory in detail, right? Then another category is soft real-time systems. As the name advises, soft real-time are less restrictive. Means there is no foundation, that this task will complete within 5 minutes only. Yeah, there is some foundation that the task will complete within 10 minutes, but there is no huge limitation like task will be complete within 2 minutes, 3 minutes and so on. Right? Soft real-time systems are less restrictive. Critical real-time task gets priority over other tasks. Means critical real-time means that is very urgent, gets the priority, means this task has to be completed first over the another task, over the other tasks which are in queue, and retains the priority until it's complete. Means it gives a priority that this task has to be completed today, tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So this is done by the real-time operating system. Soft real-time systems have limited utility than hard real-time system. This line gives a comparison between the soft and the hard. This line says soft real-time systems have limited capacity, limited utility than hard real-time system. For example, now these are the examples of soft real-time system. First one is multimedia. This is so much interesting topic, multimedia. As the name advice, multimedia means multi means more than one, media means any media for communication. So multimedia is when we are using more than one media at the same time, that is known as multimedia. There are different types of media like text, graphics, videos that come under the multimedia. Then there is a virtual reality. Virtual reality is also a system which we are using, and that is a part of the soft real-time system. Then another one is advanced scientific projects like undersea exploration and planetary rovers, etc. So these all are systems of the soft real-time system, right? So this is the wind up of the types of operating system. The next topic is operating system services. Let's see types again. First is batch operating system, then time sharing operating system, then distributed operating system, then network operating system, then real-time operating system, right? Next one is operating system services. Now let's take 5 minutes or 10 minutes break, and we will discuss this topic after the break, because this is a lengthy topic and I think you all need break. So let's take the break. I think one new member has joined us. That is Jose Icons, right? So I discussed it in a hurry manner or in a detailed manner quickly. Okay. So the main topic is operating system services. Means what are the services that is provided by the operating system? Like every unit, every function provides services. In the same way, operating system also provides some services. So this line says an operating system provides services to both the users and to the programs. Means OS provides services to the end users like you and me, or to the programs like Word, Excel, PowerPoint. It also provides program and environment to execute. Means it also provides a facility where the environment, where the system is utilized, where the system is used, so that we can execute the program. So operating system also provides the environment of or atmosphere in which we can execute the program. It also provides users services to execute the program in a convenient manner. It means it provides users or services to execute the program in an efficient manner or convenient manner, so that we can prepare our task, we can do our task very easily. Now, there are few common services which is also provided by the operating system. Few services include all this. First one is program execution, then input-output operations, then file system manipulation, then communication, then error detection, resource allocation, then protection. So these are all the common services that is provided by the operating system that I will discuss with you in the next slides, next few slides. So this slide says what is operating system, what are the services provided by the operating system to the users as well as to the programs. Right. Now let's see one by one these services. First one is program execution. Execution means execute or to run the program. Program means set of instructions. So when we are executing the programs, that is also provided by the operating system. So it is a responsibility, it is a service of the operating system to execute the program in an efficient manner. And this is one of the main advantages, main services that is provided by the operating system. Now let's see one by one line. Operating system handles many kinds of activities from user program to the sister program. Means OS handles various activities from the user program like our programs, user means end users like you and me, to the system programs like printer spooler, name server, file server. Printer spooler means a printer queue. Printer queue means if I am giving the print command 5 times and 5 times printer gives the printout. So one command will come, another command come, another command come. So this is known as printer spooler. This facility, this queue, this spooler is also handled by the operating system. Means operating system decides which page is printed first, then next page is printed, then next page is printed, because we are giving only the command, but internal part takes place with the help of the operating system. So this printer spooler means a printer in queue, printout in queue, so that we can handle the printout in an efficient manner. We can use the printouts in an efficient manner. Each of these activities is encapsulated as a process. Encapsulated means a binding, that is like a capsule. If I am taking the capsule, that includes medicine. In the same way, encapsulation means binding. So all these activities are handled or binded by the process. Then another line says a process includes the complete execution text. Complete execution text means it is the responsibility of the OS to include all the text or all the context that is used for running the program, that is used for executing the program, like code to execute, data to manipulate, registers, OS, resources in use. So these are all the operations, all the activities that need for a program to execute, and that includes code, data. Code means a coding part, then data part, registers. As I told you that memory is most required, so register, OS resources like CPU time, resource allocation, etc. So these all are most required for executing the programs. Now next line says following are the major activities of operating system with respect to program management. Means these are the all activities which is provided by the operating system that comes under the program execution. First point says loads a program into the memory. Means it is the responsibility of the OS to load a program so that we can execute it. Because I told you that memory is the space where we can load the program. So it is the responsibility to load a program into the memory, and that responsibility is done by the operating system. Next point says execute the program. First of all, OS loads the program into the memory, then it executes the program, means it runs the program. That comes under the program execution. Then it means operating system handles program execution. Handling includes any error, any kind of disturbances which came under when the program is in execution. So this is also handled by the operating system. So handle program execution means handling the program's execution in an efficient manner. Then next point says provides a mechanism for process synchronization. Synchronization means coordination among each other. Like if you are giving a response to me, I am giving a response to you, means there is a synchronization between you and me. So it also provides, it means operating system also provides a mechanism for process synchronization. Means different processes can communicate, can synchronize with each other in an efficient manner. Then next point says provides a mechanism for process communication. For example, if there are four processes P1, P2, P3, P4, and out of four, two processes, that is P2 and P3, wants to communicate with each other. So that is also provided by the operating system. That comes under this line provides a mechanism for process communication. Communication may be oral or written, but this communication is provided by the operating system that comes under the program execution. Then it also provides a mechanism for deadlock handling. Deadlock means a condition where you cannot go forward and you cannot go backward. So it is also handled by the operating system that how to handle deadlock condition if there is a deadlock condition, right? So these are all activities which is provided by the operating system which comes under the program execution. Clear? Now let's see next slide, that is next services that is provided by the operating system. Next important one is input-output operations. Input-output operations means, first of all, what is input-output? That is input and output. Input is used for giving input and output is used for displaying the output. So all the input-output controlling, input-output operations is also handled by the operating system that comes under the operating system services, right? So first line says input-output subsystem comprises of input-output devices and their corresponding driver software. Drivers hide the peculiarities of specific hardware devices from the users, as the device driver knows the peculiarity of the specific driver. In simple terms, operating system uses the input-output operations to decide which hardware is correct, which hardware is wrong for input and output. For example, if I am using the printer, so there is a printer driver. This printer driver is provided by the operating system and OS decide which driver is used when and why. So it is the responsibility of the operating system to decide which operation is used at what timing. Right. Next line says operating system manage the communication between the user and the device driver. For example, I am using the printer. So I am the user and device driver is the printer driver. So printer driver means if I am using the printer, so I am the user and the printer driver is the driver with the help of which I can get the printouts. So operating system manages the communication between me and the printer driver. So it is the responsibility of the operating system. Now following are the major activities of the operating system with respect to input-output operations. These are three activities of the input-output operation. Now let's see. Input-output operation means read or write operation with any file or any specific device. Means with the help of operating system we can easily read or we can easily write operations with using any file or any specific input-output device. Right. Next point says programs may require any input-output device while running. That is, when I am using the program, I am running the program, I need some requirement, I have some requirement for input-output devices. So when the program is in running stage, they need input and output devices, and that is also provided by the operating system. So this comes under the operating system services. Right. Then last point says operating system also provides the access to the required input-output devices when required. Means when there is any requirement for the input or output device, that is also provided by the operating system. For example, I am using the computer and I am using the printer, or let's example scanner, that is the input device. So if I am using the scanner, so this is facility or this access is also provided by the operating system. so that we can easily access my scanner and scan the document, or we can easily get the printout from the printer machine. This is also provided by the operating system that comes under the input-output operation heading. Now, let's see next services that is provided by the operating system. Next one is your file system manipulation. This means this is the another services that is provided by the operating system. File system manipulation. File means collection of records. System means any organized collection of interdependent components. Manipulation means how to manipulate this. So this manipulation of the file system is provided by the operating system that comes under the heading operating system services, and that is known as file system manipulation. In simple terms, this topic includes which file is to use when, and what are the updations in the file, what are the requirements of the file, what are the manipulations in the file. This is provided by the operating system. And this is one of the main advantage, main of the important service that is provided by the operating system. Now, let's see one by one. A file represents a collection of related information. As I told you, file means collection of records or collection of related information. For example, if there is a student file, there is a related information of the student like name, age, roll number, marks. That is a file, means a related information. Related information includes information about the student like marks, age, roll number. That is a related information about the user, about the student. So this is a file. If I maintain all this information, so that comes under the file, right? Computer can store files on the disk, that is secondary memory, secondary storage for long-term storage purpose. For example of storage media are magnetic tape, magnetic disk, optical disk like CD, that is your compact disc, DVD, that is your digital video disc. So all these devices are used for storing the files which I maintain. For example, if I maintain student file and this student file is stored in the CD, so this is also done by the operating system, and this is also the main service that is provided by the operating system. Each of these media has its own property. Each of these media means either CD, DVD, magnetic tape, magnetic disc has its own properties like speed, capacity, data transfer rate, data access method, and etc. Speed means at which speed data can be accessed. Capacity means the storage capacity of the device. Data transfer rate means what is the rate when will be the data transfer from one place to the another. And last one is data access method, means what is the mode when we are using the access or using the data. What are the methods available for this, right? So these paragraph says what is file and what are the tools available for recording these files and what are the properties for these files or media, right? Next paragraph says a file system is normally organized into directories for easy navigation and usage. These directories may contain files and directories. This is not direction, this is directory. So this means a file system is also known as directories. Directories means if there is a collection of files, that is known as directory. And one directory contains multiple files. So in simple terms, directory is a broader term and file is a narrower term. So directory includes files, many files, but files cannot include directories. In simple terms, if I am talking about the folder, that is your directory. Means folder contains many subfolders or many files, but a file does not contain many folders, right? So it also provides, it means operating system also provides a navigation and usage for file system. These directories may contain files and other directories. Following are the major activities on operating system with respect to the file management. Means all these activities are performed by the operating system. These are all services which is provided by the operating system. Now let's see one by one. Program needs to read a file or write a file. Means this is the activity, this is the service which is provided by the operating system. This means a program can easily read a file or write a file with the help of the operating system. Next point is the operating system gives the permission to the program for operation on a file. Permission means giving the permission whether it is in read mode, it is in write mode, it is in execute mode. There are three types of permissions: read, write, execute. So it is the responsibility of the operating system to decide which file or which application is read only or write only or execute. That is the file system manipulation. Then permission varies from read only, write, read write, denied, and so on. Yes, this is the point which I discussed in the second point. That is, permission varies from, permission includes read only, read write, denied, and so on. And these permissions are also decided by the operating system. Then next point says operating system provides an interface to the users to create or delete files. If I am using the file, I can easily create the file folder. This facility is also provided by the operating system. And I can also delete the file at the same stage. Means you, me, anyone can save the file, create the file, and delete the file. Then operating system provides an interface to the users to create and delete directories. This point says create or delete file. In the same way, we can also use to create and delete directories. Means we can also create and delete the directories with the help of the operating system. Last point says operating system provides an interface to create the backup of the system, or backup of the file system. For example, I need a backup of my system because I know my system hangs up and it will go at any time. So I want to reformat the whole system. So before reformatting, I take the backup, and this backup facility is also provided by the operating system to back up all the things when things are not going well. So this is the main advantage, main service that is provided by the operating system. Right. So these all activities comes under the file system manipulation, and this is the main advantage, main thing that we are using in file system manipulation. These are the all activities, and this is one of the main service that is provided by the file operating system. Right. Now let's see another slide. Hi Nelda.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
I'm here.
Yeah, shall we start?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we can continue.
Okay. I'm so sorry for delay.
No problem.
So, so the next service that is provided by the operating system is communication. As the name advises, communication. Communication means sending and receiving of data. Means if I am communicating with you, you are saying something, I am saying something. So there is a two-way communication between you and me. So this is a communication that is provided by the operating system. In case of distributed systems, which are a collection of processors that do not share memory, peripheral devices or a clock, operating system manages communication between processes. So it is the responsibility of the operating system to manage these communication in an efficient manner. Multiple processes with one another through communication lines in the network. OS handles routing and connection strategies and the problems of contention and security. So it is the responsibility of the operating system to take care of the communication and take care of the routine connections and also take care that there is no problem of contention security. Means security cannot be lost while communicating from one process to the another process. So this is the main advantage, main services that is provided by the operating system. Now let's see different activities that is provided by the operating system and that comes under the communication operating system services. Following are the major activities of an operating system with respect to the communication. First point is that two processes often require data to be transferred between them. The main services, the main activities that operating system provides that more than one process requires data that is transferred between them and that is also provided by the operating system. Next point says the both processes can be on one computer or different computer but are connected through computer network. Means if there is a requirement for the communication, so the both computers or the one computer must be connected within a network. That is, if I am using one process, you are using another process. So our computer means you and my computer are connected with the network, with the LAN, that is local area network. Last point says communication may be implemented by two methods, either by shared memory or message passing. Means these are the techniques for communication that is done by either the shared memory or either the message passing. Means how to pass the message or how to share the memory. So these are the two techniques that is provided by the operating system that comes under the communication. Right. So in simple terms, communication means how to communicate with one another. This service is provided by the operating system. Now, let's see another service. Another service is error handling. As I told you, all the errors which comes under the processes is handled by the operating system that comes under the error handling topic. Errors can occur anytime and anywhere. Means if you are using a computer, I am using computer. You can face any error at any time, at any error at anywhere. If I am using the save option and file is not saved, then an error takes place. So this line says error can occur anytime and anywhere. Error may occur in CPU, means error may be occur in the central processing unit, input output devices or in the memory hardware. In simple terms, error may be occur in any of the part of the computer. So following are the major activities of an operating system with respect to the error handling. So these are two activities that is provided by the operating system to handle the errors. First of all, OS, that is operating system, constantly remains aware of possible errors. Means, let's example, if I'm using something, I know my mobile phone hangs up very quickly. So I'm prepared for that. In the same way, operating system prepare for the possible errors. Possible error means which are frequent errors which came. So OS is aware or constantly remain about the error which is available, which is come possible, which is available to execute. OS takes the appropriate action to ensure correct and consistent computing. Means operating system takes the appropriate action, appropriate decision to ensure that there is a correct and consistent computing. There is a correct decision that is take place, that is comes under the error handling. So in simple terms, operating system handles the errors very frequently, very constantly, and there is no remaining chance of error. Right. Next service that is provided by the operating system is resource management. As the name advises, resource management means how to manage the CPU resources in an efficient and convenient manner. So this is the one of the service that is provided by the operating system. In case of multi-user or multitasking environment, resources such as main memory, CPU cycle and file storage are to be allocated to each user or job. In simple terms, multi-user means more than one user, multitasking means more than one task environment. There are different processes which need to be shared among the different processes. So that is different resources is shared among different process, among different persons. So this is the responsibility of the operating system to manage how these resources are shared among different persons, among different tasks, among different users. Following are the major activities of an operating system with respect to the resource management. Means these are two activities that is provided by the resource management that is provided by the operating system. First says OS manage all kinds of resources using schedulers. There is a term scheduler which schedule for the processes. Means which process is to come first, another process is to come first. So OS manages all kind of resources using the scheduler. So it is the responsibility of the operating system to manage the resources. And next point says CPU scheduling algorithms are used for better utilization of CPU. Now there is a term algorithm. Algorithm means the step-by-step sequence. Like if I am using something, I need some explanation, lab manual or the book manual. For example, if I am purchasing the refrigerator or television. So there is a lab manual, there is a working manual that guides me how to use the TV. In the same way, CPU scheduling algorithm provides a better utilization, provides the environment, provides the utility that helps you how to use the CPU and when to use the CPU. So this is the main advantage of the resource management that is provided by the operating system. So this slide includes two services. First one is error handling, means errors can be handled by the operating system, and this is one of the main service that is provided by the operating system. Another service that is provided by the operating system is resource management, means how to manage the different resources of the CPU, of the task, and how to use these resources in an efficient manner. So these all two services is provided by the operating system. Now let's see another one, last one I think. Yeah, it is last one. Last service that is provided by the operating system is a protection. As the name advises, protection. Protection means protect from the unauthorized access. In simple terms, operating system provides services like how to use, when to use the operating system. Considering computer systems have multiple users, the concurrent execution of multiple processes. Concurrent means more than one at the same time. Then the various processes must be protected from each other's activities. Means different processes must be protected for each other activities. Means one process cannot execute with the help of other, or another activity cannot execute with the help of other. So there is a time gap, there is a gap between two processes. So that facility is also provided by the operating system. Protection refers to the mechanism or way to control the access of program processes. As I told you, protection means to protect something. So it provides a mechanism or a way or a task to control how to access the programs, processes or users to the resources defined by the computer system. So protection is one of the main advantages that is provided by the operating system. Following are the major activities of an operating system with respect to the protection. Means these three activities are provided by the operating system that comes under the protection. First activity says operating system ensures that all access to the system resources is controlled. Means if I am using the computer, so system resources, that is computer resources, is controlled. That is, if I am using the CPU, so CPU is only on or accessed. There is no provision that if I am using the CPU, then printer automatically owns. So this is the main service that is provided by the operating system, and that is known as all access to system resources is controlled. Then next activity says OS ensures that external input-output devices are protected from invalid access attempts. For example, I'm using someone account, I'm hacking someone account, right? And there is a provision that I'm using the password and the username 3 times. So automatically that account is not activated, or it is restricted and it is low. So this is the main advantage or service that is provided by the operating system. In simple terms, if I'm accessing the invalid username and password more than 2 or 3 times, then the system is logged for the safety purpose for not attempting the unauthorized access. So this is the invalid access attempt, and that is provided by the operating system. Last point says OS provides authentication feature for each user by means of a password. Means operating system provides that each user has a unique password. For example, if I have an email ID, there is unique email ID for me and unique email ID for my password. And if you are using the email ID, there is unique ID for you and unique password for you. So this facility is also provided by the operating system. So this topic, this slide includes protection, that is prevention from the unauthorized access. So this is the main service that is provided by the operating system, right? And I think this is end of the session, end of the topic. Let's see. Yeah, this is the end of the topic. Let's quickly revise all the things, right? First of all, we studied what is operating system, what is the definition of operating system. Means our operating system is the interface between the user and the hardware and controls the execution of all kinds of programs. Then we see the diagram of operating system, this one. Another slide says functions of operating system, that is discussed in detail, that is memory management, how to manage the memory, what is the memory size, when to access the memory and when to delete the memory. Then there is a processor management, means different processes are allocated one by one, and when to allocate different process, when to deallocate another process. Next, device management means how to allocate or when to allocate the devices and when to deallocate the devices. Then file management means how to keep track of the file with the help of the operating system, and this also includes allocation and deallocation. Then there are different activities which is also the category of operating system, functions of operating system that include security, control over system performances, job accounting, error detecting aids, coordination between other software and users. Now, next topic is types of operating system. We discussed earlier. First is batch operating system. Means when we are using the group, then that group is handled by the batch operating system. There is a time sharing operating system in which different users can share the time, that is time sharing operating system. Then there are some pros and cons or advantage, disadvantage of time sharing operating system. Then there is a distributed operating system, means more than one user are using the same system. There is a network operating system, that is with the help of the network we can access the system that is provided by the network operating system. Then real-time operating system in which time plays an important role. There are two types of real-time operating system, that is hard real-time and soft real-time. Now, next topic is in operating system services, means what are the services that is provided by the operating system, and these include all the following activities: program execution, input output operations, file system manipulation, and so on. Program execution means how to execute the program, when to use the input, when to use the output. File system manipulation means when to store the file in the CD, DVD, it depends on the media. Then how to communicate with different processes, how to handle the error, that is error handling, how to manage the resources of the CPU so that CPU cannot sit idle. Then there is a protection, means how to protect from the unauthorized access. These are all services that is provided by the operating system. So that's all for the today's session. Any doubts, anyone?
Hello.